All right, we're back at the Thugjitsu Master and Squid Show. We got a special guest here, the Leather Jacket Posse, myself, and Bellator CEO Scott Coker. How you doing today, Scott?
Doing good. How are you, Yves?
I'm great, man. We had a little bit of a hubbub come up on the internet about our interaction yesterday at the presser, and you did say why the main event is now Rampage and Chael versus Diego and Rory, but my question was, what is the justification for that being the main fight?
I mean, like I said yesterday, we're not the first company to do this, So I think you should be objective in that sense. And if you look at, like I look at the DC fight that he's fighting, he was announced as the first fight, so people thought he was the main event. They brought that last heavyweight fight on at the very end, and they changed it to become the main event. And you know what? I think we're in the same situation. Douglas Lima came out and fighting Rory as the first fight. This was even before the tournament was finalized or had really come to fruition. Great opportunity to bring Rampage to fight Chael. And then, we didn't even announce who really was going to be the main event, right? We never said this is the last fight. To me, it was always a double main event. And who fought last, we were going to figure it out. TV said this is what they want to do. So, it's how it rolled out. And it was no disrespect to either one of those guys. And then the answer to the other question was, like how do you justify a middleweight? Chael's not a middleweight. He's 220 pounds, today. Rampage Jackson, fought most of his career at 205, but he's 250 pounds now, right? And I think he is pretty in shape, 250 pounds from what I saw, So to me, people change weights, and that's just this business. No one fights at 155, their whole career, or, people don't, have to just stay at the weight class that they fight. But, listen, I think our reputation speaks for itself. Our body of work and our commitment to, having a good relationship with athletes has always come first. And this is no disrespect to either one of those guys. And, it just rolled out the way it did.
When you say that the UFC announced their fight with DC and Ozdemir, and now that Miocic and Ngannou are the main event, don't you feel that a belt, being in both of those fights, the heavyweight belt, not necessarily means more, but the fact that those are both title fights, doesn't that weigh more into the equation?
I mean, if you think about the value and the commitment behind our World Grand Prix, it's going to go all year long. It's going to have a storyline all year long. That's an important piece of our company as well. And, they interviewed DC and said, hey, does it matter you're fighting second? Because to me, DC's a bigger name than the other two. Why isn't he fighting last? But it is what it is. I mean, it's, they made a decision, they moved on, and we made a decision, and we're moving on.
Okay. And was that decision made by Paramount, or was that decision made by Bellator?
No, that decision came from the network side.
From the network side.
And so that's why John Stusser was explaining it to why, and it's like a year-long commitment, and they're rolling out a different package, which you'll see tomorrow night, free on Paramount, 9 p.m. Eastern. I just want to get a plug in there.
No, that's perfect.
And it's like you'll see it. When you see it, you'll understand. It's going to be like a standalone event in the heavyweight tournament. So, listen, Rory and Douglas. To me, I'm really excited about that fight. That fight is going to be a barn burner. And now Rory and Douglas can fight, change, go and go out and watch, Rampage fight Chael. I mean, it's going to be something that they'll probably enjoy as well. So, Rory wanting to fight last. Of course, he wants to fight last. He wants to be the main event. And I said, look, it's a double main event, and he's a fighter. He wants to be the last guy fighting. So, this time it worked out like this. But I will tell you this moving forward. We will have other title fights throughout the year, but that doesn't mean they'll fight last. I think that when you look at the heavyweight World Grand Prix tournament, we will have, other fights, and then we'll have the heavyweight tournament fight last.
So the heavyweight Grand Prix tournament is the main, will be the final fight on any card that it's on this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is the standard that we're setting for this tournament.
Yes, that's correct. And again, it's no disrespect to the fighters that are fighting. Let's say, for instance, Gegard comes and fights, Carvalho, right? They will fight before the heavyweight tournament fight. It's something that we made a commitment to this tournament, and why can't we have a double main event? why can't we have a double main event like that? To me, it seems like, it's something the fans could benefit from both. They don't have to say, hey, I have to watch this, but I can't watch that.
No, you can watch them both, but when you say double main event, you're saying a double of a single. So it's kind of an oxymoron when you call it. It's a co-main, isn't it? Isn't it officially a co-main?
No, it's a double main event because, for instance, this sport has injuries, as you know, right? So let's say we had an injury for one. It's not like they're losing, a co-main event or a main event. To me, we're providing two world-class, world-quality fights that are double main events. And look at New York. We had Michael Chandler fight before Fedor, right? No one gave us a hard time about that fight, against Primus.
But it was also announced a long time before.
So now we're announcing it a long time before. So now we're getting in front of it.
Well, you were getting in front of it also. Right now, this has come up at pretty much the stroke of the hour. And everybody everybody that's a fight fan is looking forward to the Rory McDonald, Douglas Lima fight.
And they'll get to watch it.
As the main event, though.
And here's the thing is like, like yesterday in the conversation we had, it's like, there's so many great athletes up here, right? That there's so many great questions that I would have for them, about their training, about their sparring, about what they're doing, just them as a human interest piece, right? That go way beyond, what's the order of this bout or that bout. And so to me, it's like, look, when you have the opportunity to talk to these guys, or even tonight when you had all 6 of the tournament guys in there, it's like, there's so many great. These guys are here together in this moment in time, right? And so why not take advantage of really getting to interview them and get to know them and really ask questions other than what is the order of this bout or that bout? I mean, to me, I feel like John addressed it. We talked about the weight issue, and we're just ready to move on.
Well, in response to that, I think I am able to speak to that to some degree, having had the experience of being a fighter. And Rory and Douglas fighting for the title, like the fight with myself and Josh. We were told that was going to be a title fight, and then all of a sudden it was changed to not being a title fight. Now that shows us that tells us that we are not of that quality. We don't have the value of a championship fight.
No, I don't agree with that at all.
That's
I don't know the situation. Like I remember what happened in the Josh Thompson fight that you fought, and it was a great highlight reel that they showed over and over and over for many years.
I'd like to get paid for some residuals on those.
Yeah, just read the contract, maybe read the fine print, and go back and say hello. But it's like I don't look at it that way at all. I mean, I have a lot of respect for all these guys, and to me, Douglas Lima, who's our champion, honestly, he's fine with it. He said, hey, I have no problem with it. And then, if we would have went the other way, people say, well, why can't so-and-so fight Rampage? And Jay would have had no problem with it. It's like, I don't think that it's that big of an issue. It's like, to me, it's like the fight rolls out the way it rolls out. Television is always going to have a say. In this business. You know that.
I understand.
This is a TV business, too. So, I think you're looking from a fighter's standpoint.
From a fighter perspective,
and I'm looking at it from a fan's perspective as well.
I believe that fans and fighters, and as a fight fan and a fighter, my perspective is that these two guys have earned that spot. They're fighting for the highest prize in the sport for anybody their size. Mm-hmm. And now these other guys are fighting to get to a position to fight for the highest highest prize in the sport for people their size.
I just think that, Yves, we just have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
And that's all. I mean, listen, I have a lot of respect for you. I think you've done a great job in your career. I think you're doing a great job on Fox, as a commentator. And we just have a difference of opinion. And to me, I think the fans are going to sit there and enjoy the heck out of Roy's fight with Douglas Lima, and then they're going to be able to sit back and watch the Rampage fighting Chael and enjoy that as well. And so it doesn't have to be like who's last or who's next to last or who's second next to last. I mean, to me, it's we should be talking about the fights and the matchups and the breakdown and see there's more to the story than just the order of the bouts.
There's definitely other things to consider.
I would say a lot more things to consider.
There are other things to consider, but speaking from a fighter's perspective and a fight fan's perspective, I definitely wanted to present that to you and get your opinion. it's going to go down the way you said it's going to go down. That's what's going to happen. Now, fight fans are hardcore, and some people will want answers. You've been able to give us some of your answers to that situation.
Yeah.
Without answers, everybody's just upset, Scott.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's going to be pissed off. So you have a chance to speak your mind.
Well, I think I did, and I think John did, and they talked about it, yesterday at the press conference, and that was my confusion when you were saying, well, I didn't get my answers. Well, he just explained it to me very clearly.
He explained what was going to happen, but the justification for it was what I did not understand or what I don't feel was answered.
Yeah, I mean,
you spoke to that today.
Yeah, and so, to me, it's, I think it's just time to move on, But you still want to talk about it?
No, we don't have to. We don't have to talk about that anymore.
World-class fighter,
no.
Fox Sports commentator still wants to talk about the order of the fights.
No, the next thing I want to talk to you about is why is it that I don't see any Bellator billboards? I don't see them anywhere.
Hold on, man. Are you joking me right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what. I took a picture on the way down here.
Okay.
All over this town. I'm not sure where you go, but I'm telling you right now. I was driving on La Cienega.
Yep.
And
in Hollywood?
On the way to the airport here. And then, look, there it is, bang. On Sunset Boulevard. Bang. On the 405 freeway. It's everywhere. Oh. You're the first person to say to me.
It's got the main event on it. That's cool.
Well, this is something that went up about 2 weeks ago, but it wasn't. And there's some billboards that have Rory and
Douglas on it.
So the thing is, like, when you talk about promotion, we are all over this city, man. We are.
Okay.
We got 3 stories in the LA Times this week. Look at the press turnout for the workouts. We had 45 members of the media here yesterday, and this town is buzzing. I mean, I've had people that live here that, other events come here, whatever, they go, hey, we are feeling the buzz. And to say there's no billboards, I'm going to send you where they're at. You can go check them out.
Okay.
Because you're the first person to say that to me.
So Bellator is doing big things this year?
Of course. Man, this is going to be our year. I really feel like in the last 3 years, we have really set the foundation and the groundwork for a growth spurt of this company. We've already grown, like for instance, if you look at the gate tickets for this fight, we've sold 30% more tickets this year than we did last year with Tito versus Chael, and that was as of 2 nights ago, right? So we're going to break our LA gate attendance record. TV ratings are extremely high, and now we have the conversion to Paramount, and Paramount is embracing MMA. Because they always have. Yves, let me tell you, if it wasn't for Kevin Kay, do you know Kevin?
I know of Kevin.
Okay, Kevin was the president of Spike TV. He's the one that greenlit Ultimate Fighter. If he didn't greenlight Ultimate Fighter in 2005, where would MMA be today?
Where it was in 2004.
It might have just died at that point. Seriously, I mean, I was working for K1 at the time, and I was on the outside looking in, and I really felt like this could be the beginning of the end when Senator McCain came on and said this is like human cockfighting. The cable operators started pulling the ability to buy it on pay-per-view, and they started losing their affiliates. And then, in comes Lorenzo buying the company, putting money into it, making some great moves. But there was still something missing, and that was the Ultimate Fighter. And so since 2005 till even today, it's the same company, Viacom, that said we're going to get into MMA and we're going to drive it and we're going to build a sport along with the UFC at the time. And then, now they're building Bellator, and their commitment is unwavering because I tell you, Kevin is a big fan, too, of MMA. He knows all the fighters. He knows, he's really, he's a fan. So to me, it's great when you have a president of 3 networks that works in the company, like, I'm saying like Viacom, which is a very powerful media company, say we're staying in the MMA space and we're going to bring Bellator to Paramount and we're going to have it as part of our launch weekend, which is, this event. And that's a powerful statement, right? So to me, it's like you have that much support, Yves. What I'm looking for is like to have a media company like that. It's a powerful piece of ownership group that when you think about TV deals, right? Other MMA companies are running around town looking for a TV deal. Bellator doesn't have to do that. The TV company owns the company. So when we go internationally to channel, let's say to London, Channel 5 or Spike UK, they're owned by Viacom. So it's the same ownership group. We're not out looking for TV deals, around
in
the world.
different markets.
We don't have to because it's vertically integrated. The network, the company owns the networks that we're on. That's why we go to the UK. That's why we go to Hungary. Spike Hungary is broadcasting Bellator right now, and Anay Communications, which Viacom just bought into Anay Communications in Israel. So that's why we go to Tel Aviv. We do a fight to support them. So we're out supporting our broadcast partners all over the world. But the difference between us and everybody else is we're not going to have to go look for TV deals.
But what about the markets that you're not in right now? Well, places like New Zealand and Australia.
They have networks already there.
But I've not known of any Bellator fights have been broadcast in those
because
countries.
Because we right now
broadcast, not necessarily there, but
yeah.
broadcast in those countries.
Yeah, we have a deal with New Zealand, Australia, so I can find out where it's being broadcast and get you the information. But when I started here, Yves, 3.5 years ago, it was broadcast, I want to say, in 40-something countries. Now, we are in 150 countries around the world, right? We are on the main channel in Russia, and it's a terrestrial television, which is like, it's not a cable, it's terrestrial television. And so I can show you this map of the color of every territory we have, and we're pretty much around the world now. In every major country. Now that doesn't mean we're going to go there and throw a fight because right now we made a commitment to do 24 fights this year, and you can't go everywhere because we have to do our fights here, and then we're going to do so many in London and in Ireland, and we're going to do Italy, and we're going to go back to Tel Aviv. I think we will grow throughout different parts of Europe, but the international expansion plan is already on the way, and it's already doing well, and it's all backed. Like I said, it's all backed by Viacom having these ownership groups or ownerships of these networks that we're out there supporting. So it's a good time for us it's a good time for Bellator in the sense that now we're expanding internationally and growing this brand. And believe me, it's doing very well. I'll show you videos of Tel Aviv, sold out, 10,000 people. Florence, Italy, Milan, 12,000 people sold out. I mean, to the rafters. I mean, it's amazing how much this brand has grown. And so. And a lot of that is TV driven by Viacom. So I guess my point is that this is a company that is committed to MMA, which you should feel great about. I feel great about. My team feels great about, and the fighters, because you know what? When there's only not competition, but there's only one person bidding for a fighter services. That's not a good time for the fighters.
No, it's not. Competition breeds improvement.
Yes, competition breeds improvement and keeps everything on the even playing field, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's great for Bellator to be here and to be healthy and to be driving. And look at our blue chip sponsors. We just landed Boost Mobile. We have Dave & Buster's, Blackheart Rum, AutoZone, Burger King, Light Beer from Miller. I mean, these are blue chip sponsors that, Viacom Sales is handling out of New York, right? So it's not even from Bellator; it's from New York, and Viacom Sales is handling all the sales of all the assets in the cage and and the commercials and and all the opening closing billboards. So, the amount of support we're getting is quite phenomenal.
Okay. I have 3 more questions for you, Scott.
That's all?
That's it.
Okay.
I'll be quick about them.
All right.
But the first thing, Bellator's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
When or how much more integrated into pay-per-view is Bellator going to get?
I'll tell you. We did our first pay-per-view in June last year. And this fight this weekend, we were talking about doing it on pay-per-view because I think it is a pay-per-view worthy card. But because it was Paramount's launch weekend, we said let's put it on Paramount because it's important for the company, and we want to kick it off with a big show, and then we're going to see how the tournament unfolds. But I think that we'll have some great matchups coming out of our tournament.
Yep.
And then there's fights that I look in the future and I go, you know what? This will be a great pay-per-view fight. This will be a great pay-per-view fight. And, one that comes to my mind is, Gegard fighting Rory. I think that'd be a great pay-per-view fight.
That's a great fight.
So that we have some great pay-per-view fights ahead that we will be putting on pay-per-view. But, we're going to, like I said before, we're going to pick and choose which ones, and when the timing's right, we'll do it.
Okay. And you have a new, or been a lot of announcements over the past week about your broadcast teams.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to roll out these broadcast teams?
Tonight. I mean, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, so, Jimmy Smith had a great run with Bellator, and he and Viacom, John Slusser, the gentleman that was at the podium yesterday, they couldn't finalize the deal. They were going back and forth, couldn't make a deal happen, and so it didn't work out. So Jimmy left. He went to the UFC, and to me, we brought in John McCarthy and Jay Glazer. I mean, to me, that's two big, strong names, and I feel really good about the show that they're going to put together tomorrow night.
Well, Scott, I believe that's all I have for you today.
Well, you said one more. You got to come on now. You got to think of something. No, I'm joking. Yves, it's great. I've been a big fan. I've watched your career. You fought for me, and I'm happy to sit down and talk to you anytime. Yeah, we did. Make the internet jump a little bit yesterday, but it was just you had something to say, I had something to say, and it was just a difference of opinion,
and it mattered, and we were able to talk about it and get it sorted out. I understand, and to summarize, it was a decision made by the network, and this is how the tournament is going to run.
Yes.
It's no disrespect to the fighters.
Yes.
Fighters may have felt that way, but you spoke with them and they understand, and now the fans hear your side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that have an understanding or empathy, they can understand, and if not, then they are who they are.
And to me, if not, it's like I said, I really take pride in the fighter's relationship that we have together, and I always believe that the fighter is the star of the show, and this is something that I think comes from I think being in martial arts and understanding martial arts and the pain and the suffering and the things that you guys give up as fighters, it's like a certain amount of perseverance and character development in MMA training and fighting, and I respect that. So to me, I've always respected the fighters. I think my body of work has always shown that we're a fighter first company, and this is just something that rolled out the way it did, and hopefully we can all move forward from here.
Well, I think we will. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Guys, Scott Coker, CEO and President of Bellator MMA. Thank you.